the live stream in front of me. I was so confident. I was so confident that I was going to have no errors today and that we were going to be smooth as can be to start out. We're going to ping a lot of people. We're going to talk about Twitter charging. We're going to talk about Tom's carb loading. We're going to talk about a bunch of other things. Come on up, Carrie. Let's see here. Invite to speak.
We're going to talk about, I mean, it's not the smartest guys in the room. We talk about anything and everything, right?
Not the smartest guys in the room. Let's first question. Carrie, is your Clubhouse usage down? Is it up? Debbie, go on, Carrie.
It's non-existent. Everyone knows how pissed I am, but
you hear it, Tom?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, Carrie. I think Dom, I think you got an audio issue on your end, but I can hear Carrie fine. So go ahead, Carrie.
Okay. I heard half of the town hall last night, but I was very upset last week from the town hall. I am not on it. I was on it all the time, and I'm not interested in these chats. I think I don't even know what to say about them, but it was interesting because at the end of the town hall, he said, like we say in Clubhouse, we'll see you in the hallway. We'll see you in the hallway. I'm like, who are we seeing? Because there's no hallway and there's no live rooms. So it was kind of like, what's going on? Why aren't they listening to the feedback? So I don't know what the alternative is, but it's 2 weeks of this. And the longer it continues, the separate we're going to become. So that's my take.
Is that something they actually say? We'll see you in the hallway. Is that a thing?
Well, that's what they said. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. But I was kind of surprised at the end when Paul said that. He said, you know, like we say in the hallways. No, like we say in Clubhouse, we'll see you in the hallways. And I'm like, no one has even been able to find each other for 2 weeks, and there's no hallway. So it was just strange to me.
Dom, are you good, buddy? I know you're.
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good. But I'm gonna say I probably sound. Do I sound weird though? Because I got a different. Okay. If I don't sound weird, then why am I wearing these dumb mics? I'll just use speakerphone and talk right into it. But if I sound weird, then I'll change. But I just wonder about that usage being down. Carrie, when you said last week about people that you don't even like to listen to your own voicemail, and then there's going to be a whole app for voicemail. Boy, that was quite an astute point that you made. So, Debbie, is usage down, usage up? Are you enjoying the new Clubhouse? Or are you saying, come on, give me at least a version of what we had before? Go on.
Oh, where do I begin? My usage has been down. Not really. People can't seem to find my room. The amount of followers or quote unquote friends is like dropped. So it's like 2/3 of what it was. It's just really hard to figure out. I don't understand these, whatever the chat rooms are. It was probably too much of a change all at once. If they had probably divvied it out bit by bit, it might have been easier for people to learn the change and adapt and move forward. So that's my 2 cents.
All good points. Why not roll out a little bit at a time? Who ever heard of, like, McDonald's doesn't all of a sudden, I love Chinese food. McDonald's doesn't start to sell Chinese food and get rid of all your favorites. I mean, they add the McRib. They don't add 50 things at one time. John Jay, what do you have to say about it? Go on, Tom.
I was just going to say, let's real quick before we go to John, if you don't mind, just because we haven't actually said where we are and what we're doing yet on the live stream, because you were talking in Clubhouse before the live stream started, right? I saw your mouth moving when the live stream opened up. So until you can see my face on the live stream, nobody on the live stream has heard what we're doing. They just, all of a sudden we were just talking. So I just want to take like a 10-second like pause and just let's set up what we're doing with not the smartest guys in the room, and then head back to the conversation.
That's a wise idea. And me and Tom in this room, we come shot out of a cannon every week. So on not the smartest guys in the room, what we try to do is we talk storytelling. At our root, this is about storytelling, messaging, branding. How do you share your story? Whether it's a podcast, whether it's writing a book, whether it's yelling from a stump. Those are all great ways to share your story. So we try to dig into tools, hacks. Tom doesn't like the word tricks, or what was it you don't like, Tom? Was it hacks? Or
Yeah, I don't like hacks. I'm not a fan. They're hacky. Hacks are hacky.
Hacks are hacky. So that's what we do in this room. We live stream it too. Tom, you want to teach us about live streaming?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I 100% agree. I think you nailed it, Dom. We do all of those things, and I think one of the things that I'm most proud of with what we've done over the last year plus that we've been doing this every Wednesday morning is we built a hell of a community that I'm proud to be a part of, and that I love to see every Wednesday morning. So with that community, we are not the smartest guys in the room, Dom and I. We host the show for you, but really it's about you guys getting a chance to get up on stage and talk with us and share your insights and ask your questions and get some answers. And we do that through Clubhouse. But then we live stream it all over the internet. So we're live streaming currently to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, the website formerly known as Twitter, Twitch, etc. So live streaming all over the place. And that's what we do. We're here to sort of facilitate the conversation, is how I like to think of it. We are stewards of the conversation in this community. So it's about creating opportunity for people to ask questions and get answers.
Well said, Tom. Thank you. Hey, Debbie, and I wanted to go back about you mentioned it being hard to like add friends and followers. And we talked about that last week where people were losing half their followers and there was follow limits and stuff like that. Some people I've heard saying maybe Clubhouse wanted to make sure that nobody had that much influence over their app. So that was a unique take that I thought, all right. But I wanted to say, you can go in, I think it's where your picture is in your bio here. I'm gonna try it while I'm doing. I think you go into your picture or into your settings and you can see that. I think I'm still here. Almost. You can go in and you can see like people have added you and you have to go back in and click on them, and then you can vice versa. So my number was way down, whatever it was cut in half. And then I just went back in and saw that there was a place where I could start one by one adding people back in. So it wasn't that complex. So now we're going to go to John Jay. John Jay, Clubhouse changes, but I also have to get into these Twitter might charge. I wonder, then I thought to myself, if Twitter's going to charge, how fast would we be off of it? And then if that's the case, well, then how fast would you be off of anything that charges? And if you would leave, if they charge you, then why are you there in the first place? Because you must not be getting that much value. Then when we get a whole bunch of people here, we're going to find out about Tom's carb loading, his race results. He looked good crossing that finish line. So I want to make sure we don't talk about that when the room's just getting started. And we all want to know about the carb loading at mile 100. If you're like, what the F am I doing? Why don't I just get in a taxi and quit it and stuff like that? So John Jay, weigh in, my friend.
First of all, if Twitter charges, it depends on what you get. If they increase the reach and the lifespan of tweets, I might do it. If the way things stand now, it produces almost no results. I get almost no traction. It is not a major player as far as driving traffic to the website and increasing downloads of my show. The podcast version of the show, it's just not. So having said that, whether they charge or not, it depends on the reach. For example, if Facebook said, hey, we'll charge you $20 a month, but you'll get unlimited reach and every one of your followers can see what you post, sign me up. immediately. So Clubhouse, the way the thing is, I've lost almost no followers. My rooms have the same amount of strength, same amount of attendance. I can find rooms in what we used to call the hallway very easily, but I don't find rooms that don't appeal to me, which is a big plus. And here's one of the things I absolutely love. Those great big people that had followers of 50, 60,000 and they followed 500, all of a sudden, they don't exist on this platform anymore. Or if they do, they don't have the following they had. So it really creates an opportunity for smaller people. What they want to do, from what they've said many times, is they want to get rid of people that use this as a platform to increase their business and increase connections and friends. So that's what I do. And I also found the asynchronous chat is a great way to promote what you got coming up. So I post and I ghost. It's like I don't go and listen to stuff too much anymore. There are tweaks that could get better, but right now, I like the way things are going with Clubhouse.
Good stuff, John Jay. So when you're out in this hallway, how do you search? Are you just scrolling down through looking for that little, like for me, I look for if I see a topic in those little messages, I might listen, but I don't like to listen to 10 voicemails. Like Carrie said, it seems to takes a lot of time. I'm not into it, but I look for the little live microphone that's real small. You can't deny it's real small. So John, are you just I just scroll down? Is there a better way to look through for people or what?
First thing I notice is the content. So if it's a chat, the voice messages that people leave, if it's something that appeals to me, I'll listen in for a little while. But when I scroll down and look for rooms, friends of friends, they'll show up. And quite often I get notified when you guys have a room. So I come on in. It's really not that difficult. The big thing it was a shock when they changed everything. People talk about the back channel being gone. I don't miss that at all. Not one bit. I almost wish they'd get rid of the chat in these rooms and force people to come up on stage and engage and talk. But that's what I do. I scroll through the club thing and I limiting my time because I have other things I have to do. But if things don't appeal to me, I'm glad I don't see it anymore.
So why don't you like the back chat?
Because 90% of the back channel requests are people looking for freebies, free information. And what I always tell them.
All right, hang on the live stream, folks. Apparently Club Deck is being a little picky, and I'm gonna have to quit and come back in. Cancel. I don't know. Let me see what I can do. It just suddenly disappeared. Nope, that didn't do anything. All right, I got to quit Club Deck and come back in. Yes, okay. Club Deck froze. I'm working on fixing it. All right, here we go. Restarting. And maybe. Kind of encouraging. Possibly. Coming back in. Here we go.
The hallway. For example, this room is third from the top. And it shows that you were speaking. So if I'm friends of Carrie and she's in a room, it's going to show up in my feed. Even if I'm not part of that room or that house, for lack of better words. So it's a different area. Events is where I follow people back. And the big thing that a lot of people didn't do is they had a lot of followers. They didn't follow anybody back. And when they changed this, they lost most of those followers. If they were not people they connected with, they didn't consider to be friends. So I don't know about the club thing. I changed to a house a long time ago, and that's going strong. The one thing I wish they would bring back is the chat in the house, because you can leave voice messages, which are great. But I really like being able to put images and links up there, and that part's gone so far.
Hey, this is Elise.
I meant health. Sorry.
Yeah, no troubles. I just wanted to add to that too. I think one of the things that's been a little challenging in terms of being able to find the live rooms is the algorithm for the homepage, or the hallway rather. And I don't know if it seems like maybe everybody else is experiencing this to some degree, but when you jump into your live feed, at least what I've been finding is the majority of the top rooms that are showing are rooms that are past. They've already been completed. So if they could just reconfigure the app to either have a filter at the top where you can filter and only present either live or past rooms, or at least some sort of clear indicator for that home feed, it would probably resolve some of the issues. But then again, we'll see if they're working on it.
Hey, so I wanted to jump in also and kind of give everybody a couple tips. A lot of people are putting capital LIVE in front of their room title, because if you go over to the little search bar, which is like the magnifying glass at the bottom, and then click the search and then type in live and then go over to the rooms, some of them might show up that they're live right now. Like one is live Kirtan from, I don't even know, but it says speaking now, and it has that little, like, I don't know, what would you call it? Pulsating dot. And then also, if you know a room starts at a certain time, so Dom, what time does this room start on Wednesdays?
9:30, young lady.
9:30. Okay. So if you guys go into the new hallway, quote unquote, and you refresh, it actually goes by time. So there's two that just say just now, one 6 minutes ago, one saying speaking now, 11 minutes, 12 minutes, 17 minutes. So you guys opened 47 minutes ago. That's where you guys are showing up on my thread, because how many minutes ago do you guys started this? Oh, 9:30. So how many, 20, I don't even know how, I can't even, 18 minutes ago. Then the next one's 22. Next one's 23. So like, if you know what time a room starts, keep scrolling. And I know that's so ridiculous. Like, we should not have to do math to find a room. But that's how I've been finding rooms, is kind of figuring out, okay, what time does a room start? Okay, I'm going to scroll down for that time. It's, if there was a room that started at 6 a.m., I'm going to look 3 hours ago and look for that timestamp. So those are my suggestions for finding a live room, because that's how I found this room.
All right, Heather, thank you. Elise, thank you. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Not the smartest guys in the room. We got a good room. We got good topics going on. Twitter charging, Clubhouse changing, Tom's racing. Okay, let's get into this now. Tom was here. You were moving your mouth a couple minutes ago, and nothing was coming out. I wondered if you were miming or something. So go on.
Yeah, nothing was coming out on Clubhouse. It was coming out on the live stream. Everybody watching the live stream could hear me fine. I use, as everybody knows, we've talked about this before, I use Club Deck on my desktop to create this live stream. And I clicked on an icon on the Club Deck home screen, and the screen just went, the window for Club Deck just went blank, and all the sound went away in the middle of John Jay talking. And so I was scrambling to kind of like quit Club Deck and relaunch it and get back into the room. So I was just telling the people on the live stream what was happening, because they lost audio. They couldn't hear you. They couldn't hear John Jay. All they could hear was me. So I was just telling them what was going on, which is why you saw my mouth moving but didn't hear anything. So yeah, that's what was happening a couple of minutes ago. But little technical difficulty. Apparently, Club Deck didn't like me clicking on that icon, so I'm just not going to do that again. And well, hopefully it won't go blank and freeze up on us.
That's a good idea. Maybe like Johnny said last week, maybe you have too much energy as well. Johnny, I got to say, Johnny said, like, if my tech is not that savvy, that and like my computer crashes and stuff, maybe I have too much energy. I took that as the biggest compliment. Man, I'm rocking energy, positive energy. But I will say, I wanted to tell you all that I was going in my garage the other day, and me and my daughter are sitting in the car, and I'm pushing the button, and the garage door just wouldn't open, and I'm pushing, and it was right after we had this conversation where Johnny said energy can crash electronics. I handed the thing to my daughter. She pushed it one time and it opened. So I'm riding high on this energy.
It could also be user error. Just
No.
gonna say.
I disagree.
It could be the way you were pushing the button, not your, I don't know, not the electromagnetic field in your thumb.
I believe in what Johnny said. So moving on. Okay, Tom, last we heard, you were eating the equivalent to like 36 bagels or something. And so one, we want to know about the race. One thing I want to know first, do you weigh yourself like before race and after race? And do you lose like 10 pounds during the race? And then we want to know how you did. Go on.
So to answer your first question, I have not weighed myself in any time in probably at least the last month. I don't regularly weigh myself. Ultimately, the number on the scale isn't very important to me. I'm somewhere around 180 pounds. That varies a little bit, a few pounds in different directions on different days, depending. Just like everybody else, everybody's weight fluctuates a little bit. Nobody is like the same number all the time. Your weight actually fluctuates throughout the day. So you weigh less at certain times a day than you do at other times a day. So I don't pay attention to the number on the scale. I'm more interested in sort of leanness, right? So body composition is more important to me than weight. And I still have a couple of pounds of fat, like a little bit of excess fat to lose there. I'm not saying I'm fat. I definitely am not. But I just have a little bit of extra weight that I'm carrying that I don't need to, and that I spend energy carrying through a race like an Ironman that I don't need to spend, right? So, if you can imagine, if you were given the choice of running a marathon, carrying a 10-pound weight with you, or running a marathon without carrying the 10-pound weight, which one sounds easier? The one without carrying the 10-pound weight, right? So if there's excess mass that isn't benefiting you, that isn't muscle mass, that isn't, skeletal mass, bone density, things like that, then there's no point in carrying it. So I'm much more interested in body composition than weight. So that's a very, very long-winded way of saying I have not weighed myself in a month, and maybe longer than that.
All right. Well, that's a good answer to that. But tell us now. I want to know about the race. So I saw some you running against like pro, and she passes you, and you're complimentary because she's a superstar. But so how did you finish? And was it everything you hoped for, or were you like, why do I do this?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll just kind of talk you through the day. So the day started out with, basically some bad weather, essentially. It wasn't raining, wasn't storming, but we ended up in a situation which the locals described as a stacked tide, which I Googled that term and I couldn't find it after the fact. So I don't know if that's like a local thing, or it doesn't seem like a meteorological thing. But basically what they were saying was we had pretty strong prevailing winds, coming from one direction, and the tide, or the current in the river, moving in the other direction. And so what you ended up was with like the surface of the water going one way and the current underneath going the other way. And the way they described it was it would basically be like swimming in an endless pool, right? Like one of those pools with a current where like you just swim and swim and swim and not actually really get anywhere. And so they had a small craft advisory. So it was dangerous to have on an Ironman course. It's a 2.4 mile swim. Typically they're sort of like, it's a, they'll create a loop and you'll do like multiple laps of that loop. In the case of Ironman Maryland, it's a 2-lap course. And, the one leg of the lap is kind of out pretty far into the river, the Chop Tank River, where the swim takes place. And they were concerned with the small craft advisory that they wouldn't be able to have safety vessels, which are typically kayaks and paddle boards, people on kayaks and paddle boards along the course. They wouldn't have safety people out there. And if somebody got into trouble, they wouldn't be able to get there to help them. And so it wasn't safe. So the first thing that happened was they delayed the swim start. Originally, the pro race was supposed to start at 6:30, and they delayed it to start at 7:30. And then ultimately they decided to shorten it from a 2.4 mile swim to just a little bit more than a half a mile. So it was 918 meters is what they told us. So about 0.57 miles. My watch registered a little over 1,000 meters that I actually swam. And it was tough on the outside of that swim course. We were getting bounced around pretty good. The current was pulling us around, and there was some chop kicking up, and we were getting bounced around a little bit. So it was a tough, challenging swim, and I think they made the right call. So that was how the day started. So it started with a curveball. But then after the swim, we got on the bike, went out, did 112 miles on the bike, fighting a bit of a headwind. So there were times when I was doing about 23, 24, 25 miles an hour on the bike and would turn a corner and turn into the wind. And instantly my speed would drop from like 24 miles an hour to like 17 miles an hour. Just like turning into like like riding into like a very soft wall of wind, right? It would just slow you down. It was as if you were riding on like really smooth pavement and then all of a sudden went into the sand, right? It slowed you down that much. It was pretty wild. So that was challenging, but made it through in a pretty good time. Ended up compared to the last time I did that course, I was 17 minutes faster on the bike than the last time I did that course. So that was good. And then got onto the run. And like you said, you saw me running with one of the pros. It was Alice Albert. She actually won the women's race there last weekend. And she passed me like I was standing still. So I was never really running against her at all. I was just lucky enough to be there when she, be present of mind when she passed me, and we had a little chat and gave each other some encouragement. Which is really cool. It's one of those cool things about Ironman and about triathlon in general is there's a lot of people encouraging each other and pushing each other and congratulating each other through the races like that. And so it was really nice, to be there on course with somebody who races at the level that she races at, her and the other pros that were on course. She's the only one that I interacted with, but all of them are just incredible what they're able to do, and to throw some throw some encouragement her way. I think I said something along the lines of, great work, Alice, you got this, something like that, and she looked over and said great work, you got this too, or like you're killing it, or something like that. And then kept on going with the race. So it was a ton of fun. I ended up running about 37 minutes faster than I did the last time I was there. All in all, they cut because they cut the swim so short. It was hard to sort of measure it against my goal of being sub 11 hours. But I would have been right there. I think if I've done some of the math, and like I would have been right around 11 hours, maybe 11:01, maybe 10:59, 10:58. If all things were the same, I would have been right there. So yeah, but I did end up running into some cramping in the on the run, and that's why my run sort of steadily got slower. That time when you saw the video of me getting passed by Alice Alberts, that was early on in my run. She was towards the end of her run. She was like mile 20 or so at that point, and I was at like mile 3 or 4. And so I was feeling great, and she was nearly finishing up, and it just kind of was a little bit downhill from there. The first half of the marathon, I felt pretty good, and I was on good pace to run around a 3:45 marathon. And then in the second half of the marathon, I started having some hamstring my hamstrings wanted to cramp. So I had to sort of modify my stride and slow down a little bit so that they didn't cramp, because I figured it would be slow. It would cost me more time overall if I kept pushing too hard and let them cramp and then had to work out the cramps than it would if I just kind of slowed down and didn't let them cramp. So I don't know if that was the right decision. I ended up running a 4:11 marathon, which is, slower than I wanted to run, but definitely, 37 minutes faster than the last time I ran that marathon course. So definitely not upset about it. But yeah, that was my race.
All right, Tom, we salute you. We like you. We every week, like when you did the little videos telling us what you had going on and putting yourself out there. We appreciate anybody in this room that puts themselves out there, tries something new, goes hard, tries to give it your best. That's all it is. All it's about, man. Just giving it your best. So, well done.
And
go on.
To that point, I want to say one thing really quickly. That, Ironman has this thing like anything is possible. And I know a lot of people look at a race like an Ironman and they say, there's no way I could ever do that. So there's a couple of things you should know about me before you decide whether or not you think you can do it, right? The first is that as a young child, I had, and this is not going to reflect well on me, right? So this whole, everything I'm about to say, some of it is not going to reflect well on me. Just to give you an idea. But so like as a young child, I had severe asthma and I had a lot of respiratory issues when I was a little kid. In fact, my parents have described having memories of pacing the floor with me in the middle of the night, talking about whether or not they needed to take me to the hospital based on how my breathing sounded, right, as a baby. I had pneumonia several times. I was asthmatic. So I had all kinds of respiratory issues when I was a little kid. Then I had knee surgery. I've had 2 knee surgeries because of a football injury in high school. And then after I got injured playing football in high school, I stopped being athletic and I started smoking, which is real smart to do if you're, somebody who grew up with asthma. Like what a dum-dum, what a stupid thing to do. But I smoked cigarettes, like a pack a day for like almost 20 years, right? And then after all of that, I decided that I should try getting into triathlon, and ultimately ended up doing an Ironman. So my point in saying all of that is, if you can go from, a baby whose parents were afraid that you were going to lose the ability to breathe on your own, to somebody who in their 40s, in their mid 40s, I'm going to be 45 in a week, right? Somebody in their mid 40s finishing an Ironman in about 11 hours, in number 15th in their age group. I'm telling you, if I can do that, so can you, right? So do not doubt yourself. Do not doubt that it's possible. If you want to do it, I mean, that's the thing. Not everybody wants to, and that's totally fine. But if you want to accomplish it, you 100% can. You just have to put in the work. And that's all it comes down to. So, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we hit that point, because that's the important thing.
Well done, man. We appreciate you. And good point on putting in the work. It makes me think of like Kobe Bryant. Here's a guy that I heard a story where one summer he didn't even score a basket. The whole summer he was like, and he just keeps setting goals like, next summer I'm going to score, and then worked harder, longer, was up at 5 a.m. working out. He'd work out for 3 hours before practice, all this stuff. But it was the work, besides all the, he had other attributes, but it was the work that he put in that separated him. And I think about, I'm supposed to speak to a college basketball team soon. And sometimes people will speak to this is a Division III team. And sometimes people will speak to a team and they'll say, well, you're not going to go to the NBA. You're not going to do this. You're not going to be able to accomplish this. But like Tom's saying, you can accomplish whatever the hell you want to accomplish. You just got to put in the work and consistency and keep on doing it. And that's what we're doing here. Not the smartest guys in the room. All right, we are moving on. So we're talking Twitter. We're talking Clubhouse changes. Twitter charging. What are they thinking? Or maybe they're right. And then phases of development, meaning when you're working on projects, are you finishing 50 projects at one time and forget that you need to have other projects in the hopper? Like, because when you finish 50 projects, then you don't have another project to go to. So I always like to know about people's sales cycles as well. So Jackie, we're going Jackie, Heather, Brian P. Swift. We got Julie Rock in the house, Dr. Tachi, Prof T, and Beth. Okay, Jackie, what's up?
Hi, I just have to go back for a second. How much time did you cut off your running, did you say?
So on the same course, when I did this race in 2021, I ran a 4:48 marathon, and last weekend I ran a 4:11 marathon, so 37 minutes.
I'm speechless. Like, I just had to go back and be like, holy SHIT. Like, congratulations. Just hearing that is just blows my mind, dude. Like, I'm sitting here trying to do like a 5K again, okay? Because I'm a mom. I went through all my stuff. I'm getting back into my fitness journey. Oh my God, dude. I just had to go back and recognize that. And with your cycling as well, holy SHIT. My God, dude. Congratulations. I hope you are so proud of yours. I'm proud of you. I only know you from the couple times I've talked to you. And oh my God, dude. Wow. Okay, so we're talking about, I just had to get that out of the way. I'm sorry, because I was just like flabbergasted when I was like, I could not have heard that right. Like, holy shit. Sorry, SHIT. I don't know if we could swear in here, whatever. So you're talking about constructing the podcast. Is that right, Dominic? That was one of the subjects? Because I'm not on Twitter, but what was the last topic you brought up?
So I was talking about just all the changes in Clubhouse. I'm talking about Twitter making you pay. And then I want to know from each of you, like I spent 20 years in sales. So I love, me and my dad can sit around and talk business for hours. And it's like we're watching a football game. That's how much fun we have talking business. So sometimes I have a father who's been in business 50 years and he'll be like, we're so busy, you got to stop bidding. And then, we got so much business, can't take one more person. Got to call people and give them their down payments back. I'm like, what? And then a month later, he's like, we need more business. And I'm like, well, why'd you quit bidding or why'd you quit moving forward on that other stuff? And so I wonder about people's cycles in your business. How do you continue, or do you get so caught up in, I got these 5 places to go this week, I can't do anything else?
Okay, so here's my thoughts on that. It's no secret I'm a stay-at-home mom. I am very involved with my kids and everything that they do. So I have a list of stuff that I'm going to do, okay? And I know right now my podcast is not making me a lot of money, but this list is a list that I have committed myself to. So it will happen. It's just, when can I make it happen? And I give myself a goal. So at least 3 things done this week, because my kids control my life. We all know that when you have kids, like, especially because mine are 4 and almost 2. Like, there's no way to actually sit down and have a schedule when you're a stay-at-home mom, because you just don't know. So that is mine. I don't say no. I don't say it's not going to happen. I've been having crazy ideas. I cannot wait to get them all out, but I have to slow myself down and be like, Jackie, one thing at a time. One thing at a time. And that has been my process. I'm still a newbie. I started this in January. So not even a year ago. But yes, that has been my process right now.
I appreciate it. I like this idea of this list and making sure you check each thing off. I work with a lot of lists, and sometimes the list, I don't know if you feel this way, Jackie, sometimes you knock everything off the list real quick and you're like, wow, I'm cruising. I have 5 things on my list. I can go to this. And then, like, the other day I had 4 things that needed done, and like all 4 of them there was issues with every one of them, and I like, just how it goes some days. You feel that?
So I think yes. And also sometimes it goes quick, sometimes it takes a month. And here's the interesting part, right? The list is never ending. It's never ending, right? So you meet this huge goal and you're like, yes. And then your next goal pops up and you're like, here's my list again. And you have to start from the bottom and work your way back up. But as long as you have the passion behind it, it's just like, I just want to do it. Like, I don't know what happened to me in the past. Like, well, I do know what happened to me, but we won't get into that. I have become so focused on my brand, helping other people, getting out into the space, meeting people either if it's online, if it's in person, like just getting myself out there. And I've made this huge commitment to this. This to me is lifelong. Like I will always be doing something with this. If it's not podcasting, it's going to be speaking. It's going to be hosting events for people. It's going to be something like that. So that's the next part, right? Is you meet your goal and then that goal is not good enough anymore. You need a bigger goal. And then you need a bigger goal. And then you need a bigger goal. And I don't see that as a downfall. I see that as a beautiful thing. We're always working on ourselves, right? So what would make it different in our businesses?
Beautiful. Well said. Let's go. Heather, what are your thoughts on all this? Weigh in.
Such a good conversation. There's so many ways I can go. I want to say something about Twitter. I have one client who pays for Twitter. One. And I know if they are going to charge people, all of my other clients are going to jump ship because they are not going to pay for Twitter because it is not worth it. Sorry. My one client who does pay for Twitter is in the real estate tech space. And so they've been on Twitter for as long as Twitter's been around. They've been around for 25 years themselves. So they're going to say, but I know everybody else will jump ship. And I think Elon Musk is a moron. I don't care what anybody says. Come at me. Elon is a grifter. The grifting keeps on grifting. That's all I have to say about that. About the personal growth aspect. I mean, that's where I'm at right now, 100%. I mean, I've been grinding, hustling, working my ass off for 15 years. I mean, and I have a lot, and I have that proof in my neck. I've been working in, WordPress website design, social media management, SEO, on my phone all day long, on the computer, in a chair, and I now have kyphotic neck. My neck is inverted the wrong way, my guy. So lift your head up, please, if you're on the phone. And now I have to go to the chiropractor 3 times a week, and I have to do traction, and I have to recurve my neck. But the thing is, I am so happy. I am so thrilled because I now know why I'm getting daily headaches. I'm working on my posture. I know I'm not going to be like my grandmother who is hunched over. My mom, I see it happening to her. Love you, but she is literally starting to hunch over just like my grandmother. And I do not want to be 85 years old in a wheelchair because I cannot walk. So I'm really excited about this and just the personal growth and the healing journey that I'm actually on right now. From my neck to trying new things and facing my fears. Like I was afraid of the chiropractor. I had a clavicle sprain in my neck in high school, and the chiropractor I went to literally mentally scarred me. But now I'm over that. I faced that fear. I went on a plane to Atlanta, you guys, and I haven't been on a plane since 7th grade. I'm facing that fear. And now because of that, I'm working with a company where I'm going to be doing the social media for their conference at Meta Campus at Facebook. So guys, step out of your comfort zone, take time for self-care, and just know that you're totally worth it. Okay, love you.
Love that, Heather. Both of those things that you ended with there, like stepping out of your comfort zone. Obviously I'm a big proponent of that. I do a lot of things that are very uncomfortable, physically, personally, in my my exercise and athletics, but also professionally, I like to push myself out of my comfort zone. And taking time to take care of yourself and make sure you're functioning well, I think is incredibly important. And it's one of those things that you really have to do to set yourself up for success. And I think, a perfect analogy for this, Dom was kind of hinting at it. He was asking about it a little bit before, was the carb loading that I did going into the race, right? Was all about self-care and setting myself up for success, about doing something that was going to create opportunity for me to succeed, even though it wasn't, it wasn't glamorous. It wasn't, posting really fast workouts or, getting out and going quick on my bike or anything like that. It was literally just eating a lot of carbohydrates for 3 days in a row right before the race, right? So not glamorous, but it was important to take care of my body and make sure my body was well prepared and fueled going into that race. And I think, similarly, you have to do the same thing whenever you're facing a big challenge in your professional life, or in any aspect of your life. Make sure you take the time to take care of yourself. Sometimes before, sometimes you can do that sort of, in preparation or prophylactically, but like sometimes you have to do it after the fact. And sometimes you got to take a moment afterwards to make sure you have time to recover. So really important points to hit on. And I couldn't agree more with your take on Elon. I don't think he's quite as brilliant as he's cracked up to be, or he's made himself out to be, I should say, right? And convinced other people he is. I think he's smart, but I don't think he's as all around brilliant as a lot of people like to think he is. He is definitely not the tech genius or the engineering genius that a lot of people seem to think he is. And I definitely agree that he's a bit of a grifter. So yeah, I mean, I think he's going to destroy Twitter. Ultimately, we're watching a slow downward spiral, and ultimately it's going to go bankrupt and get sold off in parts. And, that's going to be the end of it. Yeah, I mean, Simon just posted in the chat, worth a few billion though. You know what? You're right. But also he can keep his billions. I wouldn't trade my life for his, for a hot second. I genuinely would not. I don't care how much money you would put on the table. Like I would never want to be the kind of person that he is.
And why would we want to glorify billionaires anyway?
Exactly. I'm right there with you. Like, it's absurd how much money a billion is. Like, to put this in perspective, I did this math the other day, right? To put this in perspective, if you started earning $5,000 per day, right? And I think we can all agree that's a lot of money for one person to earn, right? $5,000 a day. If you started earning $5,000 per day and worked every day of the year, 365 days a year, every year, starting in the year that Columbus sailed to the New World, so 1492, right? Starting in 1492, $5,000 a day, every single day since then till now, and you saved every penny of it, you still would not have $1 billion. You would still be almost 20 years away from hitting $1 billion. That's how much money it is. It is an absurd amount of money. It is more money than any one person could ever possibly need. And yeah, I 100% agree with you, Heather. Like, let's not glorify those folks, right? At the end of the day, I think having a positive impact in the world, and even on a small scale, is much more important than how much money you make. So Elon Musk can keep his billions, because I would never want to be him.
No, I hear you guys, but if you made your billions doing honest work and you do good with your billions, the number itself doesn't make somebody inherently bad. I would think it's probably what they do with that influence that directs them one way or another. Hey, because I'm telling you, someday if I sell Motivation Champs for $1 billion, I hope you guys aren't like, damn that Dom, he's a real jerk. I thought, all right.
No, I agree with you, Dom. I'm not saying that the billion inherently makes them a bad person. Here's what makes somebody like Elon Musk a bad person, right? He could single-handedly, right, if he liquidated assets, right, instead of buying Twitter for $44 billion, right, he could have taken a similar amount of money and eradicated homelessness in this country. Period. Like permanently eradicated homelessness. I think the estimate is like somewhere in like the $30 billion, in the 30s of billions of dollars, right? So for less money than he spent on a vanity project, because let's be very clear, his purchase of Twitter was 100% a vanity project, right? For less money than he spent on a vanity project, he could have permanently eradicated homelessness in this country. And also probably in the same bucket, he could have also made sure that no child in this country ever goes hungry. Right? So like, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, like that's what I think makes him not a good person, is the fact that he's not using that money to actually do good things.
No, I wasn't arguing that he's a good person. I'm just saying,
yeah,
billion inherently. No. All right. Let's go on here. Come on, I've had enough. You're gonna get show and tell.
Oh, come on. We could keep trashing Elon. Let's keep trashing. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding. We'll move on.
You put Elon in your tag on Twitter, you get more views. So go on. Okay, not the smartest guys in the room. We are going to my friend Brian P. Swift. Can you get us back on track here? Brian P. Swift, the ultimate challenge. Go on, my man.
Well, thank you. Love what's going on here. Love what's being said. Thank you for the opportunity. First, let me talk to Tom. Tom, congratulations on your accomplishment. I want to talk to that subject because, much like you, I believe people are capable of so many wonderful things that we don't give ourselves credit for. I believe people stop dreaming and people are afraid to challenge themselves because of possibly failing. But I've adopted this mindset of, and being a mindset coach, you've got to keep adopting and going back to what's worked. And for me, it's the old saying, which has been revamped, of sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I stopped that thinking years ago. And instead of sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So you never lose, no matter what happens, whether you beat your old time or whether you didn't beat your old time, you won. You won a race that was important to you, and that was beating your old time. So that's critical. And for those people out there looking for those challenges, whether it's a 5K, whether it's an Ironman, whether you don't have to. Tom didn't. I guarantee, and I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think so because we've talked about this. Tom didn't start with Ironman races. Tom started probably with triathlon, sprint triathlons or half Ironman. And so start challenging yourself at these other levels, and you would be amazed at what you can accomplish and how you can push yourself. Why do I say that? Because I did my first triathlon sprint when I was 50. And I did two parts of it because we were able to you could do it as a team. So I did the swim, which was half a mile, which 3/4 of a mile. And then I did the 3.5 mile run. And then I had one of my kids do the 13-mile bike. And I did that as a quadriplegic. So swimming, I did the backstroke. My goal was not being the last one out of the water. And I was not the last one out of the water. And my goal of a 3.5 mile bike, I did in my wheelchair. And my goal was not to be the last one. And I wasn't the last one. And so that was a win for me. And I had never done one before. And it was kind of a challenge thrown up to me. So, at the age of 50, after spending 30-something years as a quadriplegic, confined to a wheelchair, those are the challenges I love. So don't doubt yourself. Set big goals that scare you. If they don't scare you, you will never get that rush at the end when you finish. And that's a rush that is so worth the worry of whether the goal is too big. Just manage your expectations. That to me is one of the keys. Same thing with multiple projects. You talked about multiple projects, Dom. You know, I always have multiple projects going, whether that is in my speaking world, whether that is in my writing world, definitely in the fitness world. I'm always pushing it with new goals. And in the business world, I'm always definitely stretching and have multiple things going on. Along with that, you know, taking your care of self is different for everybody. For me, part of that is the exercise. Part of that is some of the hobbies. So I'm always working. I love woodworking and doing making live edge tables. So I'm always managing numerous projects. And again, I go back to it, as long as your expectations are managed, that you can accomplish and have multiple things going. And ultimately, I think it's good too, because sometimes things get stale or things get flat or boring, or you hit a wall. And for me, the best way to get around that wall is to step away from it, maybe for a little bit, because while I'm working on something up, inevitably I'll get the spark, I'll get the inspiration, I'll get the thought that gets me through that. So don't doubt yourself, challenge yourself mightily, and continue to move forward. So thanks much, Dom. And again, Tom, great job.
Swifty, right on, my friend. And I want to point out that Brian's written a lot of books and he speaks all over the place. But me and him worked on a screenplay a couple years ago. And all of a sudden yesterday, 2 days ago, we got an email from somebody that came across it and just wanted to know about packaging and financing and stuff. And it could all be bull, but you put yourself out there and you keep moving forward with all these things. So we'll have a cup of coffee with them and see. But you just keep moving forward. Thank you, Brian. Not the smartest guys in the room, not the smartest people in the room, not the smartest y'all in the room. There could be more words for people than if we could say people. What people group anyway? Julie Rock, what do you got for us today? Weigh in.
Hey everyone, good to be here. Happy to see you all. I'm just kind of listening along as I'm working. So what's the focus today? What do we want to lean into?
Well, Julie Rock, okay, here's what's agitating people today. Two things that are agitating people is Twitter thinking about charging. People don't necessarily like Elon Musk, from what I'm finding out here. And then the other thing is people don't love all the changes on Clubhouse. Simon, if you wanted to come up, Simon was here. Simon's digging the changes, but I haven't.
Dominick, you're not going to like what I have to say right now. I have something to talk about.
Okay, do so. Go on.
I mean, like, all these things are great, and you know, it's a distraction. They're all distractions from what we really have to do. I'm sitting here trying to build my business and trying to think about how I need to stop making excuses and be consistent. And so, like, I think we just, you know, let's have a reset, guys. Let's reset. Let's think about what we're doing to build our life and our work, and focus on what's really important. I actually put a link in the chat before, because Julie, Logan, and I are doing a room this afternoon, and gotta be honest, like, I've been having a little battle within myself about just being consistent. And, you know, you talked about a lot of sports and things like that, and getting your body in shape. And so let's get our businesses in shape and things like that. So that's what I have to offer today. Be consistent, be encouraged, have a great day. And I need to just get back to my work and do the hard things. Thanks,
Julie Rock, that's right. Think about what's important. Good call. Sometimes we get all pissy about all these little things that don't even matter, but maybe they do. That's what we do here. We dig in on these topics. Whether it's Tom's,
maybe they don't.
Go on. What were you gonna say?
No, I said maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe Elon is going to take all his money and feed the world eventually with all the money he makes. Who knows? But the point is that, you know, we're just on a journey.
Yeah, right. And maybe he's providing jobs for people and things like that. Like my buddy Jim that just popped in, his company sells, I don't know, hooks or chains or something to SpaceX or something like that. So hey, maybe he's producing income for other people as well. It was a talk about what Elon's value is. People are mad because he's a billionaire. Well, not necessarily because he's a billionaire, because what's he doing with his billion? That's the thing. Like Tom was saying, like, come on, you could use a percentage of, it is, I in the Bible, I think it says it is easier for a camel to fit through an eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. So if you want to, you could take it that far. I mean, when you got billions and billions and billions, my Aunt Alice, who was very poor her whole life. My father was poor growing up. My Aunt Alice, who gave her whole life to helping other people. Well, I mean, didn't she make 10 times the impact because she gave the majority of what she had? But we shall. Go, Swift.
To your point, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach him how to fish, feed him for life. I think every billionaire could give away a billion of all their money, and I don't think it's going to cure homelessness or certain things out there. I mean, that unfortunately, do I think it would help? Oh, most definitely. Do I love those causes? 100%. But we've got to be realistic. We can't stop people from making bad choices. But what I'm a believer in is giving people a second choice, second chance, or a third chance, because we've all made bad choices, right? None of us are perfect. We're all human. We all make bad choices. And some people just haven't had the opportunities that the rest of us had. 100% agree with that. But that doesn't mean you have to make bad choices. But I think, there are humanitarian opportunities for the wealthy to definitely make a difference. And I think that's where you and Tom are talking about. We're not talking about him as the man you don't have to like, but he does have the opportunity to make humanitarian efforts to make a difference in the world, which I think we're all here. Anybody here on this page right now, that's what my guess is what drives all of us, is this idea to make a difference, whether it's just through our actions, whether it's through our writing, whether it's through our tweeting or whatnot, is to make a difference, to be significant. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. And yeah, I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, when I talk about, when I was throwing numbers around before about what it would cost to end homelessness and to end hunger in the United States, those estimates are based on programming that would over time lead to an end of it being sort of the endemic problem that it is now. I forget the exact numbers of like how many people in the United States live below the poverty line. But it's it's in the multi-millions, it's multiples of millions of people live below the poverty line. There are a lot of kids who don't know where their next meal is coming from in this country. And I think it's ridiculous we've got 756 billionaires living in the United States right now. Okay. 756 billionaires. If each of them chipped in $60 million, right, which is a fraction of a percent of their wealth, right? If each billionaire in the United States chipped in $60 million, that would be enough money to end both homelessness and hunger in the United States. The estimates of which are.
Tom's going to be mad. You got kicked off again right when he's making his point. Look, this is going to make him mad. Point of the day, Dr. Tachi, how mad is Tom going to be when he comes back and his point is not able to be sounded? Yeah, he's going to be mad. Swift is gone too. What happened? We lost two people at the same time. We lost Swifty and Tom. Right? Yeah, Clubhouse probably has.
I'm back.
All right, Swifty, you and Tom both left at the same time. Okay. Here we
I don't know, something with Clubhouse, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Just-
I didn't leave.
Yeah,
Obviously, I was in the middle of talking. Yeah,
It
but
doesn't
yeah,
like your subject matter.
right. But anyway, so I think where it bounced me was basically $60 million per billionaire. There's 756 billionaires in the US. $60 million per billionaire would get us or net us a little over $45 billion, which is enough to end hunger and homelessness, to create the programming we need, right, to basically solve those problems. It's not, I just wanted to mention this, Brian, because I agree with you. It's not about sort of these solutions aren't about just, giving everybody food or, handing everybody, a meal ticket or handing everybody a home, right? It's about creating the programming we need to sort of put an end to. And that's why I talk about ending it permanently. It's about creating the programming we need to bring an end to these problems, to address, mental illness, to address poverty and the issues associated with it, to create better opportunities for people, et cetera, et cetera. But that is like when you hear people say there's no such thing as a good billionaire, I think that's kind of the thinking that a lot of people are trying to wrap their heads around when they say things like that, is because if they wanted to, right? If this philanthropic billionaire class, right, these 756 individuals in the United States wanted to, they could easily fund the programming necessary, like easily, like they would never even miss the money, right? They could easily fund the programming necessary to end these problems in the United States and to make this country a tangibly better place to live for everyone, right? But they choose not to. And that's why a lot of people argue that there's no such thing as a good billionaire, is because they're not using their vast wealth to make a positive impact for their fellow man in the way that they could. That's the point.
Fair. Good points all around. Okay, we are moving on from billionaires. I've had enough billionaires. I'm bored with billionaires. Okay. Dr. Tachi, somebody who always makes a positive impact. Weigh in here. Tell us what your thoughts are on Clubhouse, Twitter, phases of development, or don't do it. Don't talk billionaires, because I'm just going to end the room. in the room. Go on, Dr. Tachi.
You can't end it, Dom. You didn't do show and tell yet. You can't end it.
Damn it.
Good morning or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are, everyone. So yeah, no billionaire talk, but Twitter and the prospect of paying for social media, even if it's not Twitter. I think looking at it from the perspective of the company, and I always say this, don't start what you don't want to become a tradition. In other words, if you started as a free, and I put free in quotes, platform, it's very difficult to expect people to jump on board for not free, or meaning that they have to pay when the time comes. So if you know that's something in your business model or something that you aim to do, you need to somehow start that at the beginning. Is it going to be difficult knowing that there are tons of, quote, free other things out there that could possibly answer whatever needs? Yes, it will be. But then you also have to look at whether or not that's going to be viable once people don't want to pay. So maybe, freemium or something to that extent. But for social media, I think now we're at the point that we are so used to social media being free that most people are not willing to pay for it. Yes, there are some people paying for Twitter. There are some people paying for blue checks with Meta. There are some people doing that, but I think the vast majority don't want to and will not, because we have become used to things being free. And not only are we used to it being free, if I pay you, what value am I getting beyond, the surface things that, you could use as many stickers as you want, stupid stuff. So you're not giving me any real value. There's no reason for me to pay, so I'm not going to. And I would think that's how many people are thinking. There may be some in the few that think that, okay, paying for a blue check mark is going to mean something else for them, that and then paying for it monthly, which to me is foolish, or that, you know, paying for Twitter Blue is going to mean more access to something. But thus far, I haven't seen, and I think most people haven't seen, where it translates into that more something. So, you know, I don't see the return on investment, and there may be a revolution soon by people that are tired of paying. I release the mic.
I would like to say one thing too, because I 100% agree with you, Dr. Tachi. Social media is not free. We are giving them our data and then they sell our data and make money. So us using it, we're already giving something. We're already giving our data. They have been in so much trouble because of it. Cambridge Analytica with Facebook, and I mean TikTok with whatever. But again, it's not free in my opinion, because we're giving something, our data, and they're making money off of us. So they should not be charging us to use a platform that they themselves are making money. They're making money off of us. Why should we pay for a company to make money off of us? That's insane.
And can I really quickly add to that? 100% agree that data is gold. Data is liquid gold. Why don't I say liquid? But whatever. Data is liquid gold for them. So honestly, for them to charge us, the amount of money that they will get in a subscription is minuscule compared to the money that our data generates for them. So they really don't even have to, quote, threaten to charge us. They don't need to charge at all, because they're going to be able to get dividends because of the data we give us. So 100%. Sorry, Tom, go ahead.
No, I agree, Dr. Tachi. And I think, between what you said and what Heather said, you covered it well. I was just going to say that, I think going to a, going to a pay model, for something like Twitter, like freemium maybe would work. But at the end of the day, unless you're creating an opportunity where paying is going to dramatically improve features or benefit from the platform, it's going to fail. I think it's an uphill battle that no business in that space would win, right? I don't think that's unique to Twitter, and it's exactly for the reasons that Heather mentioned. I mean, we are already the commodity, right? Our data as users on these platforms is the commodity that they use, that they trade to make money, right? So they're already making money off of us. Imagine somebody buying, or paying for your services, hiring you for your services, and then you turning around and saying, and then I lost the thread. Anyway, I was trying to make an analogy and it blew up in my head. It made sense when I thought of it, and then I started saying it out loud and I lost it. That sometimes happens even to the best of us. But you get my point. Anyway, it's a slap in the face to make money off of us and then ask us to pay for the privilege of them making money off of our data. I agree with Heather, and I think it's an uphill battle that they're not going to win.
I heard, it rolls through my mind sometimes. I heard someone say either you're paying or you're the product. And so when anything, and like you're a guest on somebody's podcast, well, if they're not paying you, it's because maybe you're the product, right? You're giving them your audience, you're giving them, so there's a lot of times like this where either you're paying or you're the product. So let's continue to Creative Con founder, Julie Loken, and we actually have Creative Con up in the thing. But Julie doesn't like when I put her on the spot and make her talk about Creative Con. So what I will tell you is in Chicago in February, forget about the Super Bowl. There is a bigger event in February than the Super Bowl in 2024. It's Creative Con. And we're going to get together for 2 days. We're going to bring experts in media and speaking and networking and podcasting. We're going to get together and we're going to have people that are just starting out, by somebody that's nationally syndicated, and everybody's going to get together. They're going to get to talk to other people. They're going to get to attend seminars. We're going to blow the roof off and just give so much value. And that's Creative Con in February. So Julie Loken, what do you got for us besides?
I got
founder
nothing.
Creative
I
Con?
got nothing. I got nothing for you guys. No, I'm just kidding.
No, nothing's worse.
Nothing's worse.
Yeah, I'm not going to get started with that. But
My mind is blank.
I love it when you guys have input. It makes the show cruise right along. Go on, Julie.
No, I love this. And of course, I'd like to think I'm Dom and Tom's biggest groupie. But yeah, Creative Con is going to be amazing. One of our partners, and Dom and Tom are also partners in Creative Con, flew in from Canada. She's going to be our event coordinator. We went through everything, walked through the venue. It's going to be freaking incredible. It's even better than I thought it would be in my mind. So we do have speaker calls still open for like about a week, and we have so many people that have applied to be speakers. So I would encourage you to go up there to Creative Con link and go on the speakers page, and you can fill out the speaker form. It seriously, the people that are our core speakers, they're amazing. We have former National Security Advisor to the President. We have a few Real Housewives. We have Emmy-nominated producer and director. I don't know if you can guess who he is. And we also have Dom. We have Dom. And we have an amazing MC.
A master of AI.
Master of AI. I mean, it's going to be incredible. Oh yeah, the Snips guy. Yeah.
Teaches at Northwestern.
Influencer. Yeah.
Where is this happening again?
It's in the Chicago land area. Sorry, go ahead, Dom.
Oh, sorry. So I put the link up in the top. It's Creative Con. You're going to start to see in October, we're going to start with the tickets. And really our goal is, no matter where you're at in the storytelling process, if you're thinking, I might start a podcast, or I need to scale it. If you're thinking, I might write a book, or I need to start figuring out how to sell cases of books. If you're thinking, I need to learn how to make better videos with my phone, or I need an Emmy-nominated guy like Tom to give me tips to take me to a whole nother level. That's what Creative Con is. So we're going to get experts in all these spaces together and just dive in with panels and breakout rooms and stuff.
Like live entertainment. We're going to have tons of networking. We're also going to have a big event on Saturday night. It's going to be super fun. It's more of an intimate setting, meaning it's not like 5,000 people, but I think I like that better, especially now with, you hear this stuff about Twitter, like everything is so sanitized. I want to get to know you. I want to know how we can help you better your business and vice versa, because guess what? I'm not the smartest guy in the room here. And Brian Swift, a Chicago native, he has a radio show. He is going to be on stage. We are going to take him on stage, and he's going to blow the roof off with like his just amazingness. But and Brian Alves. Brian says he's coming. I think he's your super fan, Dom.
Really, you think Brian would ride his motorcycle out on stage for us? I wonder if he could get it up on
only if you're on the sidecar.
Yeah, I would do that. Brian could get it.
That would be super cool. Yeah. We can make anything happen, but I'm just super pumped after being at the venue this weekend, and we saw an amazing production there, which blew my mind. But the thing is that I want everybody to leave feeling that they have gained something huge for their life, for their businesses, for their creative adventures. And this has been a dream of mine for so long, and it is actually happening. So I'm just so grateful for the people that do believe in me. And that being said, I have a Twitter blue check by my name. That's nothing for me, by the way. So I was listening to you guys. As a journalist, as a writer, Twitter is so super important to be on, especially as a journalist. And so I thought, okay, maybe this will help me. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. It's like $6 a month. It really hasn't helped me. I was just looking at it. I'm like, oh, shoot, I need to cancel that, because it's just one of those things you forget about. But I do believe in pay to play, especially in the public relations, publicity arena. You have to pay to play, and it's about an investment in yourself. I don't think Twitter is the best place to pay to play, but I do invest in my business, and I do also invest in knowing where to put my money because it does reap benefits in the long run. And I guess my biggest pay to play was becoming a writer for Entrepreneur Magazine. It was such a game changer. It took me to levels I can't even express. So there you go, guys. Check out Creative Con. You're going to meet Tom and Dom in person, and they're going to meet each other for the first freaking time, like hopefully on stage, which will blow my mind.
I just
I'm done.
Thanks, Julia. I just want to hop in real quick and say one thing. So first off, I'm super honored to be a part of Creative Con. Very excited for it. Just want to throw the dates out for everybody listening. For those not here on Clubhouse who can't click on the link, just so you guys know, it is February 17th and 18th of 2024 at the Metropolis Performing Arts Center in Arlington Heights, Illinois. It's going to be a crazy, amazing, value-packed weekend that I'm incredibly proud to be a part of, incredibly excited for. And if I wasn't going to be there already, I would show up just to see Dom riding around in Brian Swift's motorcycle sidecar. So
oh my gosh, that is just awesome.
If that's on the table, you can count me in twice. I was already going to be there, but I would show up just for that. And I would encourage everybody to check it out. If you want to level up your creative work, it's going to be a great place to get that started. So hope to see you guys there. And thank you, Julie, for founding this event and for inviting me to be a part of it. I really appreciate you guys. That's all I got.
I can't do it without you guys. Like, I really can't, because I mean, isn't it gonna be epic? Like, I want to blindfold Tom and Dom and put them on stage on the sofa and just introduce you on stage. That would be so awesome.
It'd be like,
see if we can do that.
You look so much more like me than I ever thought.
And Tom's gonna be like, "You're not that tan. I thought you were tanner."
February. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might have to.
Right? Are you gonna spray tan? Spray tan, Dom.
I've never, but maybe I'll go to Florida first, get myself tan, and then come back up there.
I mean, spray tan is safer. I'm just saying, it's better for you.
Yeah, you got us in trouble one day talking about tans. Our buddy Jason didn't like that. Okay, let's move on. We are going to not the smartest guys in the room. Beth, what's happening today? We've talked about so much. Please straighten us out. Go on. She says, I can't even do it. So 3, 2, 1, Beth, going, gone, and oh my goodness. Okay, Brian Alves, video expert. I was just watching one of your new video the other day about this new product. So you're doing something right. Go on, Brian.
Oh yeah, thank you. So you guys got to sell those tickets fast because I want to buy one. And every time I go to the website, it's not up yet. So you said October, which is good. So you got to sell them fast.
There we go. Yeah, see, we're getting closer, Yeah, that's what. Man, it's going to be all hell's going to break loose.
Oh yeah. Okay. And Julie, I did put up in the chat that I will create a video. No offense to the videos that have been created so far, but
yeah, Brian, you're in. Check. And Julie's kicking ass with it, and we appreciate it. But as a Clubhouse friend that's offering, I accept your offer. So
you're welcome. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, that's whatever you need. Whatever you need from me, we'd like to give it a try.
Yeah, let's do it. So I actually just did one for a client. So while I have the project in my timeline, I can just kind of insert what you guys have and pretty much.
No offense, Tom did not make those videos. I'm just going to tell you that is all me, by the way. So I don't want to take responsibility for those videos, but I try my best.
They look great. They look great. My mission to rid the world of bad video does not apply to you. That doesn't apply to you. My mission does not apply to you. So
I was going to say, Brian, real quick. You and I have talked a couple of times in here about looking for opportunities to collaborate. So maybe this is something we could collaborate on.
Yeah, that's great. We can, I can have my editors here edit it, and you can, do some revisions until the final copy, and then we can release it, do all that good stuff. But yeah, I am more than willing to contribute. Event, which I'm going to, by the way.
Brian, we accept. Okay, now give us Twitter thoughts, Clubhouse charging, or phases of products. And we're not talking about billionaires. No billionaire talk.
Yeah, no billionaires, no billionaires. So, all of these crazy things happening with these platforms just confirms to me that I am not going to invest a lot of time in them, because I know in the past, being a video professional, I invested in having a podcast. I invested a lot of time into YouTube. I had close to like 1,500 videos on YouTube. And then when COVID came around, all of those videos all of a sudden just miraculously disappeared. Logged into YouTube one day and all my videos were gone. So this confirms that I am not putting all of my effort into these social media platforms. I'm not relying on them. My strategy is basically to redirect the relationships that I create on these platforms to my products, services, my website, my etc. So it's just basically a platform, like they do call them anyway, a platform to establish relationships, to kind of extend those relationships off to a website or service that I have. It's all about relationship building. And as far as paying for it, if it has a return on investment, I know I'm paying $6 a month to be in Twitter, and if Facebook charge whatever, if it has a return on my investment, and at the end of the month, and you say, hey, I got 17 visitors coming from Facebook in this post, buying a product or signing up for a subscription, then yes, I will pay for that. If there is no return on that investment, then that's something to look at and just eliminate it entirely. So and there was a previous person talking about how we are giving away data and they profit from that data, which is totally acceptable. But if they're charging $20 a month, $30 a month, that's going into a little gray area that I would just, regardless of return on investment, I would not pay. $6 a month, $8 a month, something, few mini payments. That's something that I have no issue with. The other thing too I wanted to say is, Tom, congratulations on your Ironman. I saw your video up on LinkedIn. I was like, which one is him? I'm not quite sure. And it was like a 2-second video. I ran the Boston Marathon. Being from Boston, you got to run the Boston Marathon. Miles, I felt sick and puke. Well, fine. So you can't imagine, doing Ironman. That's just like insane. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, Brian, you cut out a little bit there, but love having you here, and we accept your offer. Tom, were you wanting to weigh in on something there? I thought, did you flash for a second?
Oh no, at the end there, I was just saying thanks to Brian for that shout out. I appreciate it. I don't know, I'm not sure. I posted 2 videos. One is me and a woman running, so I'm hoping you can tell which one is me in that. And the other one is me crossing the finish line, and I'm the only one who crosses the finish line in the video. So hopefully you can tell, but I don't have my hat on, so maybe that's why people are there's some confusion. So I'm the bald guy with sunglasses running across the finish line in that video. And I'm the only guy in the video with the woman, Alice Alberts, who is the female pro winner of that race. But I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I'll look back and identify you. So I'd like to know, is Dominick taller than Tom? I mean, that's a question that I'd like to find out when I show up.
Well, and we are going to do, we're going to do not the smartest guys in the room. So prepare, and we're going to have everybody in the audience talk, and Julie is going to go around the crowd with a microphone, and our plan is to figure out how to do this there. So we should just have, we should start it off with both of our mics. Like, you ever go, and sometimes when I'm filming, one day we were filming somewhere and I had to be an MC, and all of a sudden they were filming with like the speakers that went out to the whole crowd, and then speakers we were using. So all of a sudden I start walking like around, and anytime I crossed like the wrong speaker, it would be the loudest squeal in the whole like 1,000 people were booing me. This is the kind of thing that we should do on purpose, just so you guys are used to how we do things every week. Like camera go down, loud squeal, odd things like that. What do you think, Tom?
Well, I was just going to say, I think we should talk through, there's some logistical planning that has to take place about how we're going to do it. I don't think we're just going to have somebody walking around the audience with a microphone right off the bat. I don't think that's going to be an effective way to handle it. But we are going to do a live recording of Not the Smartest Guys in the Room, in that room, at Creative. So yeah,
in the room. Okay,
in the room. It's so meta, it'll blow your freaking mind.
There we go. All right, it's time for show and tell. I'm keeping it simple today. Show and tell. This picture. I don't know if you guys can see pictures. Okay, you can see pictures. This is me and my lovely wife at the beach, Ocean City, Maryland, a place we like. But what I wanted you to see also is how epic my hair is here. I had short hair like that most of my life until my dad one day said, "What the hell are you doing? Why do you cut your hair so short?" I used to put lines in it, parts like Mike Tyson. But this is my beautiful wife who smiles when she's around me. So this is something that makes me smile. There you go. That's all. That was simple show and tell, right?
Yeah, that was simple. I like how you held the picture up to a camera and said, "Can you see this?"
I never know. I don't know.
I mean,
Hey, I don't know. Maybe it's not clear. Maybe it's pixelated. You're making me upset. All right, hey, it's time for Richard. Richard, weigh in. It is Richard. Richard's gonna weigh in on these subjects we've been talking about, and then I'm done talking because Tom made me mad. And then Tom will give us his epic. We need like a epic finish, or some like big epic, me.
We need to call it something. I do want to say though, I know I was busting your chops about holding the picture up to a camera and wondering, but I do think that is a really nice picture of you and your wife. And I've been to Ocean City, Maryland. It's a fun place to go, and a good spot for a beach vacation. But it is a really nice picture. And you guys have been together forever, right? I mean, you're high school sweethearts.
We went to the prom together, brother, and went to the senior prom together and got married in 2001. So 2001 to 23 was 22 years. And I think and I'm not qualified to give anybody marriage advice, but what I would say is in the course of 20 some years, you can grow apart or you can grow together. I've had 6 children, sick family, losses of business, all kinds of things like that. We've had things we disagree on, but you can either find ways to grow together or grow apart. And I think we've tried to grow together. So that would be my relationship advice for the day.
I think that's awesome. And kudos to you guys, because there's not a lot of people who manage to do that, especially starting off in a relationship as young as you guys were, and manage to grow together and keep that relationship alive. So congratulations to you guys and kudos to you for that. So yeah, I just wanted to say that despite the fact that I was breaking your chops about the camera thing, I did want to say that I did think that was a sweet picture, and I think you guys have a lovely relationship. So
well, thank you. And I take no offense. Yeah, she's sweet on me. That's all I can say. Okay, big thinkers only. Richard, man, what do you got for us today? Richard Pierce, U.S.-based professional business advisor. You got some business tips? Should we be paying for all this stuff or not? ROI in it? I wanted to tell you. See, now you got me sidetracked. I used to be in Yellow Page ads, and we would ROI everything. So when you ask me to pay for something, I'm immediately going to ROI it. And that makes me think, like with Twitter and things like that, you better pay quick. You better return on my investment quick, or maybe I'm done. Richard, business tips. What do you got for us?
Hey, Dom, I think this is a great room in that Creative Con. I just kind of tuned in. I was fixing a little breakfast, but I just tuned in. It sounds like something to really look into. And I agree with everybody. Build your own platform, have a website, drive everybody there, and build your own community. If you use social media, that's great. But as we've seen multiple times, you cannot depend on these large companies having our best interest at heart. It's just not going to happen, especially when we grow small businesses, and decisions can make or break us. So I think that's the main thing. So again, just think it's a great room, and I'm definitely not the smartest guy in the room. I just try to leave and have other people be smarter when I leave the room. I guess that would be a way to look at it. So just looking forward to hearing other tips other people share.
Thanks, Richard. Always appreciate when you stop by, and it's such a reminder, like in this room, like the importance of your own platform, like building the brand, building the relationship, building, like, did you take it off platform or to your own platform? And some of us get too caught up in what's Clubhouse say, what's Twitter say, what's Facebook say. Well, they could take it away tomorrow, so don't be so reliant. And on that note, I am done speaking for the day.
But
Again,
hold on. Before we do that, I got to point out one thing. So your buddy Jim, who is often in this room listening, sometimes gets up on stage when he has an opportunity to, but often here listening, was throwing down some fighting words in the chat that I just had to point out, saying, fun fact, Liz always has a better tan than Dom. And I knew that you were going to want to respond to that. So I wanted to point it out before we went to the wrap up. But all I have to say is, Jim, I feel like we would get along great. Thanks for sharing that.
How hurtful. And just to be clear, my wife's grandparents are from Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. So she starts a little darker to begin with, but then by June, I'm telling you, I'm tanner, and then my kids, their complexion starts a little darker too, because of their great grandparents and things like that. So, but Jim, I hate you, and leave it at that. Okay, Tom, now I'm done talking.
I had to point that out. I knew that was going to get under your skin. I wanted to make sure that you knew it was there. Because I thought, because obviously Jim wanted you to see it, right? Or else he wouldn't have put it there. So anyway, yeah. And Jim, we haven't met. I hope we get a chance to meet. I think you and I will get along great. Based on that comment alone, I think we'll get along really well. But yeah, and he said, well done, Tom. I appreciate it. So Dom's done talking now that he's taken a hit on his tan from his buddy Jim, and I guess it's up to me to wrap things up for today. So I'm actually going to make a little bit of a left turn, and this was inspired by Dom's show and tell this week, sharing that picture of him and Liz. And it's this very simply. So Becky, my wife, and I have been together for just about 11 years. Actually, we're just shy of 11 years that we've been together, and that is, we've only been married for less than a year, but we've been together for 11 years. And in that time, we've moved across the country together, started a new life together, moved houses, done a bunch of things that put good sizable strains on relationships, and despite those things, and we haven't had it rough by any stretch of the imagination, but despite the normal stresses of life, we have still never had a big fight. Right? We do disagree on things sometimes. Every once in a while, one of us gets a little snippy with the other one. It happens, right? We all have bad days. We all get a little tense and a little quick to frustration. But we've never had a big fight. And here's what both of us credit with the reason why we've never had a big fight. And it's because we make a concerted effort on a daily basis to say thank you to each other. So and it's for little things. So if I do the dishes, without question, like almost without fail, Becky will say, thank you for doing the dishes, right? Or vice versa, right? If I cook dinner, she'll say, thank you for cooking, right? Or if she cooks, I'll thank her for cooking, right? If I feed the dogs, you know, she'll thank me for it's all these little things. We make sure that several times a day we say thank you to each other, right? To make sure that we never fall into that trap of taking the effort that the other person puts into making our life work for granted, right? And so I think it's a really important thing to remember, and it applies much more broadly than in a marriage or in a personal relationship. It applies to friendships, it applies to relationships in business, it applies to how you conduct yourself in a professional setting. Whenever you have the opportunity to express gratitude and say thank you to someone, jump on it. Take that opportunity to let people know that you appreciate them whenever you can. And I promise you, it will improve all of the relationships you have in your life. Always, always, always jump at the opportunity to say thank you to other people. That's all I have for today. I really appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody being here. As always, appreciate you guys being part of Not the Smartest Guys in the Room, this amazing community we've built, and for helping Dom and I look good and sound good as we get together every Wednesday morning at 9:30 a.m. Here on Clubhouse and streaming live across the internet. So until next week, I'm actually not going to be here next week. I have a shoot. And I'm going to be I'm going to be out of town, unfortunately, for work. You know, sometimes work calls. What are you going to do? So I have to be out of town for work next Wednesday. So I won't be here, unfortunately. I will miss all of you, but you're in capable hands with Dom. And until I see you guys again, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, a great weekend. And we'll see you again soon at in Not the Smartest Guys in the Room. And next month, tickets for Creative Con going on sale. Make sure you get yours before they're sold out. It's honestly, it's going to sell out. It's not a gigantic venue, and it's going to sell out. Make sure you click that link. If you can't get the link, if you're listening to the live stream or watching the live stream, it's www.creativecon.com, and that creative is spelled with an 8. So it's CRE 8, the number 8, TIVECON.com. So make sure you get your tickets as soon as they go on sale, because I guarantee it's going to sell out. And that's all I got. We'll see you guys soon. Love you. Appreciate you. Bye-bye now.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.